We based our play on Patrick Hamilton's Angel Street.
Having us come from different angles at the same story really enriches the story.
And maybe COVID helped a little bit in giving them that sense of imprisonment and isolation.
We really did not work from the film at all. We just had the play and reimagined that.
We just wanted to see if it was possible to make this story a little bit more modern.
They're very cleverly, but not smugly, refigured the story. They've done it with so much respect and love for the theatrical form that it actually introduces young women to a heritage of their story rather than throws out the form for the sake of the new. And maybe that's one of the things that I responded to as well. They're both theatre nerds, and it's another fellow theatre nerd across on the other side of the planet going, I love this.
It really just is there in the piece, this gothicness, this sort of film noir kind of aspect. So, and those are all the things that make it delicious, really,
And so I read this new adaptation and I went, oh, hello, I want to do this. Because it didn't have all of the trappings of the older storytelling that would have made it feel a little bit dated to a contemporary audience. So that was exciting. It's funny when you're known for hard-hitting contemporary plays to suddenly be doing a play that's set in a Victorian mansion with beautiful frocks and velvet throw cushions, which I do. Again, I'm a theatre nerd. I love that stuff. A good thriller for today's theatre audiences has to have high stakes and a real sense of danger about it.
It's great. The audience really gets into it.
Building danger these days is very different to building danger even 20 years ago. And our sense of tempo is a lot faster than it used to be. I want to see someone take the idea of scenario and make it theatrical. I want it to be exciting. I want it to be picturesque. I want it to be larger than life, but I want it to ring true.
Gaslighting wasn't in the news the way it is now. Maybe 3 years after we started working on it, it kind of exploded in the news. And at least in North America, it was the word of the year.
To actually give us the word that explains the very common experience. What it must have felt like as a writer to have done that, to actually inserted a word into our vocabulary.
It's a thing that humans do to each other. They want to be one up and they tear each other down. I think Patrick Hamilton just made a really good, psychological observation about human behavior.
And I think I was sucked into it because I've lived a version of this.
It fueled me because I find it a really disturbing but fascinating way of trying to control somebody.
I really don't think there's anybody who hasn't felt that feeling of being, am I crazy? Gaslighting. It's just people do it to each other and people know how that feels. So I think there's something that people will recognize in it.
Theatre provides that great safe space to dig into nuance that actually helps us diagnose other things in our lives.
It can bring people together in a way that a recorded form of entertainment cannot.
And to actually say to the young women of today, this has always been a problem. The vulnerability that we have to people that we love and how you find your strong and independent voice, that's always existed across time. We've just answered it differently in different societies. But the getting there, the fight for survival, I think is happening in houses every day across the nation. And I don't think it's a one-way story. I think the desperation that sits inside the man is as strong as the desperation of the woman to survive. I'm looking forward to seeing young women see this play, because as long as women are dying every week, we need to keep telling these stories to understand what the heritage of that violence is, if we're going to understand how to unpick that violence so women stop dying.
Having people respond to it was a really amazing experience.
The response has been positive.
People go away from seeing this play feeling kind of activated on the idea that you can change your life. Anytime a person can be their own rescuer, it's exciting. And I think men have responded to that also.
And look, it's just a rip-roaring great story too. There's the fun of that kind of tension.
People love thrillers. It's just a great genre. There's something, we have to problem solve. We have to hold our breath on the suspense.
There's the big moments in there of like, oh my God, quickly, he's coming. Don't let him see. And I think that's fun.
It's a good ride. Good story.
I think we can do more of this. I think taking big plays around the country, big plays that matter, I think if we can make it work, then I think we can do more. We want great costumes, we want great excitement, we want great thrills, and this adaptation will give that to the theatre-going audience that really wants to get away from the Netflix screen.